Hello, everyone. I'm Oscar, and welcome to the CCGS Kids Show. On today's Passion Week special, we're going to ask the question, what is Easter all about? But first, let me introduce you to my panel of guests. Here representing the younger generation is Emily, or as we like to call her, Miss Know-It-All.
Thank you for inviting me back on your show. Just ask me the question and I will give you the answer because I know everything.
Thank you, Miss Know-It-All. Secondly, here representing the older generation is Mr. Einstein, or as I refer to him, Mr. Don't Know a Lot.
Well, although you may refer to me as Mr. I Don't Know a Lot, I know heaps and heaps of things. Just ask me mom. So, all you need to do is ask me a question.
Finally, representing the animal kingdom is Dougie the donkey. Say hello, Dougie.
Hee-haw, hee-haw.
Thank you, Dougie. If we have time, I will ask Dougie his opinion, but I don't really think he will be much help at all. Today's question is, what is Easter all about? And I just happen to know the answer myself. Easter is all about vacations. Everybody I know goes on spring break during Easter and takes a trip somewhere. So that is the answer, vacations. However, just in case there are any other opinions, I will ask my guests the question. Miss Know-It-All, do you know what Easter is all about?
I certainly do. Easter is not about vacations at all. Easter's all about bunnies. Everyone knows that Easter is the time that all the bunny rabbits come out.
Thank you, Miss Know-It-All. That was certainly a very interesting answer. Now, Mr. Don't Know a Lot, do you know what Easter is all about?
It's certainly not about vacations or bunnies, even though vacations back in London are beautiful. No, Easter is all about eggs. There are ordinary chicken eggs, but these that I love the most are the Cadbury cream eggs. They are so delicious. I have heaps and heaps of them at Easter time. So that is your answer, eggs.
Thank you, Mr. Don't Know a Lot. You certainly lived up to your name. Now, Dougie, have you any idea at all what Easter is all about?
Hee-haw, hee-haw.
Come on, Dougie. Don't be shy. Give us your answer.
Hee-haw, hee-haw. I'm going to need a volunteer to help me, please. Pastor Steve, will you please help me? Thank you, Pastor Steve. Will you please take that piece of paper right there in front of you and fold it over the top right corner?
Well, from the looks of it, it doesn't seem like Dougie the donkey knows what Easter is about either. I think he's just hungry. Here, have a carrot.
Great job, Pastor Steve. Dougie, what should he do next?
Take the top left corner and fold it over.
Oh, I see it now. Dougie, Easter's about spending time at home with your families.
Let's continue, Pastor Steve. Now fold the paper down the middle.
Look, everyone, I was right the whole time. Easter is all about going on vacations and flying on an airplane.
Pastor Steve, now cut off a strip of the paper next to the longest edge.
Oh no, you're ruining it, Dougie. That would spoil the airplane.
Pastor Steve, please don't pay any attention to them and go ahead and cut a strip of the paper.
You better be careful how you talk to me, Dougie, or I won't invite you back to be on my show.
Pastor Steve, please just cut off a strip of the paper.
Even though it's going to spoil my airplane, go ahead, Pastor Steve. Okay, Dougie, he did it. What's next?
Open the paper up.
You know, everyone, I think Dougie has given us the right answer. Easter is all about a cross, but not a paper cross. It's about a wooden cross on which Jesus Christ, God's Son, died to take away our sins.
Yes, the Bible tells us that's why Jesus came to this earth. He came to die, to save us from our sins. This is how he showed us he loved us. Romans 5:8 says, "But God demonstrates his own love towards us, in that while we were sinners, Christ died for us."
The Bible tells us that Jesus suffered many things for us. Jesus was betrayed by Judas and denied by Peter and his disciples. He was put on a trial, rejected by the people who just looked to him to save them. He was beaten, had a crown of thorns placed on his head, and he was crucified on a wooden cross.
And do you know why? Because he loved us. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son." That is Jesus. that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
Dougie, Jesus didn't stay dead, did he?
No, he didn't. That's why we celebrate Easter, his resurrection.
Well, everyone, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you to my panel and to all of you for coming. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Was he right about what Easter is all about? No, he wasn't, huh? What about Miss Know-It-All? Was she right? No. What about Oscar, our host? Was he right? Was it about vacations? No. Who was right? The donkey. Dougie was right, huh? It was all about what Jesus did for us, huh? What happened? I gotta be careful. He might bite my hair, huh? Well, Dougie told us a story. Dougie, stop. Dougie told us a story about what Jesus did for us, didn't he? That Jesus, what did Jesus do? He died on a cross. And that's what we're here for this week, to learn about all of the things that Jesus has done for us, huh? Now, in our first show, we used our piece of paper when I tore it, and we talked about Jesus being crucified with two other thieves, and how there was a sign placed on the top of the cross, and how the soldiers casted lots for the clothes of Jesus, and how they took a spear and pierced his side. But do you know, boys and girls, that you guys can do this too? You can share the gospel with your friends. Now, you saw the paper I tore, right? And you see this cross, right? And we know what Jesus did for us and the reason, right? The reason that Jesus came is so that we can be forgiven of our sins, right, boys and girls? But what happens to us if we reject Jesus? If we don't ask Jesus to forgive us of our sins? Now, I'm going to tell you what happens with the rest of our paper, but I need 4 volunteers to help me. Harmony, sweetie, come on. Okay, Phoebe, come on. And come on, sweetie. Yeah. The one in the jean jacket. Yeah. So what happens to us when we don't ask Jesus to come into our hearts, when we don't ask him to forgive us? What letter does that look like to you, boys and girls? An H, right? What letter is that? No. Another L, right? And what letter does that look like to you guys right there? An E. What does that spell? The word hell, huh? The Bible tells us that if we don't ask Jesus to come into our hearts, the penalty for our sins is eternal separation from God in a place called hell. But do you know why? That's why Jesus came. So we didn't have to go there. So we could go to where, boys and girls? Where do we go if we ask Jesus to come into our hearts? To heaven. That's right. And so in our next show, I'm going to show you how we can use the rest of our paper to illustrate that. And so Thank you to my guests. Thank you, Dougie, Oscar, Emily, and Mr. Einstein. And if you guys hang tight in about, hey, hi guys. And if you guys want, you can come back and see our show again and see what else we can do to share with others the good news of Jesus. But for